Hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry, I was not expecting to have that happen right away. So, anywho, good morning, family, everyone here, and welcome back to the farm. So, before we get into our normal, usual chores dealing with animals, we need to take a pause. We need to look outside our fence lines because the news cycle right now, it is hitting our lifestyle directly. And so I keep telling you that the ultimate form of insurance isn't a policy, it's production. And, in animals, in everything else taking care of your farm. Well, I've got three major stories that are kind of breaking right now, but they're really important to us that prove that we are running out of time to get our systems in place. And so today we're talking about the complete collapse of our commercial poultry grid, the real world math behind a sudden $100 oil spike, and how digital prepping just got a whole lot easier, at least for some of us in California. But more critical for all of us, this isn't fear mongering. This is a reality check, framing all of this for the homesteader and the prepper. So let's get into it. All right, so our first story here is the poultry apocalypse. So you can't see them, but what's kind of right behind me and outside of our house are my birds. We consider family. They are my egg production and, in the end, my meat supply. But right now, outside of small farms like ours, there is an absolute slaughter happening. So, the highly pathogenic avian influenza, HPAI, it's better known as the avian flu, has hit its absolute worst peak yet. This March 2026. I know I've talked about it for many months, but it's gotten worse. The industrial system is buckling, and in just over the last 2 weeks, over 1 million birds were destroyed in Pennsylvania alone. Nationally, we've crossed the threshold of losing 200 million birds since this pandemic began. And yes, this is a real pandemic as opposed to the other one. So think about that. Those are just abstract numbers until you go to the store and a dozen eggs, and if you can find them, are $11. I know it's a little bit of an exaggeration, sure, but they had been going down after being sky high. And now they were looking a little bit better, and now they're just not. Um, the industrial system cannot handle a disruption in the egg supply, so that's why they go up and down so easily, right? The I lost my video feed here. Hold on. So that's why it goes up and down, and why we're seeing it start to go back up right now, because it really relies on packing tens of thousands of birds into like one shed. And when one gets sick, they all die. And this is the central argument for homesteading. That's why we have chickens here. Your 4 chickens, your 40 chickens are not part of that fragile and broken supply chain. This is real food security here on our homestead. But prepper family, this doesn't mean we are immune. We must be smarter than the commercial guys. Our advantage is isolation, and we must respect the threat. If wild ducks land in your pond right now during migration, they are dropping viral bombs. So we have to be careful. And here's what we must do in response to that. First of all, I did want to go over this news story here, and it's not very widely reported, as you can see here, which should not surprise you, right? There's not only like two sources here, total news sources, and last updated 3 days ago. Um, so this is actually from Germany. There wasn't anything in the US. It's pretty incredible, right? Um, and so the short version of it, because we like ground news here, give a good quick overview, and that is that the Kolbach, which is in Germany, the Frankenpost, I think, confirms a case of avian flu on Tuesday, and it's a dead cormorant. I don't know what that means, type of chicken or something. Um, and so it's starting to spread out over there as well. Frankenpost broke the news in Hof, Germany. Okay, so it is Germany. Cool. But here's the thing, I didn't see any story around here in the US, so that does not surprise me that we are just not covering it. And so if you are watching this in March of 2026, you cannot afford to be casual. So we got to do a couple things. One, stop chicken tourism. So unfortunately, do not let your neighbors come over and walk into your coop right now. Their boots can track in contaminated soil and droppings from anywhere. I know it's hard because they want to see it when you have them over, but it's pretty simple. I just keep them out, stop them at the gate. Okay. Number two is have dedicated footwear. So you have a pair of boots that only go inside your coop. They don't go into Home Depot. They don't go into your house. This is a primary source of small flock transmission. For us, Clarence's favorite, I have Crocs, right? I can use them with socks or not. That's what I wear. They're inside of our garage. So as soon as I step out, I can put them on and go take care of that stuff. They don't go in the house. They don't go out anywhere with me. They stay right there. You should do the same thing. You can do that for really cheap now on Amazon. And number three is secure feed. So you need to make sure your grain and scratch are in a sealed rodent-proof containers. And not necessarily when they're eating it, but beforehand, right? Because it's hard to do that when they're eating it because they have to be able to eat it. But at least beforehand, try and keep it sealed and separate because wild rodents and small wild birds trying to steal your grain or your chicken feed are vectors for a viral disease. So the industry will collapse, but your 100 square foot backyard flock is a strategic asset and you absolutely need to protect it. Highly, another reason that I highly suggest getting a flock for yourselves, because also they're cute, but they're just a lifeline for eggs and meat if you need it. So, couple of things here. All right. So next topic I wanted to talk about is oil. Yeah, I know it's everyone's favorite. Talking about the $100 oil and the feed to freeze effect. So topic number two, the topic that makes us all groan, but we cannot ignore is global energy prices. Now, something I that I'll show you about here real quick on this news article, and actually, got a lot of sources because it's oil, right? Is the Trump administration is temporarily lifting sanctions on Iranian oil at sea due to soaring prices, right? They've already done this with the Venezuelan oil that we seized, and now it's due to Iranian oil. Now, this makes me question things quite a bit, right? Because if we're sanctioning them and now we're lifting it, what is this really about? I don't know. It is curious for sure. But temporarily lifted bans for next month to curb the surges. It waived 10 separate sets of sanctions. And it could inject 140 million barrels of oil, right? Um, and it's talking about a deployment. So that's not the oil. So this week, for the first time in this current geopolitical wave, oil prices did punch through $100 a barrel, like we talked about in this, and they talked about in this article. And this is directly tied to the new disruptions we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz. And let me bring up Google Earth because here, just so I don't dox myself, bring up Google Earth because it's known to bring up my house first. I know a lot of people aren't familiar with the Strait of Hormuz, and I think that's a key thing here that we need to talk about. So I'm going to bring up a map here on Google Earth. Okay, we're good. And so we can talk about this, right? So Middle East, right? You got Saudi Arabia over here, and you got Iran. The other thing you got is the UAE, or United Arab Emirates. In here you got Dubai is one of the big cities that I guarantee you've heard of, but that's part of the UAE, right? And Oman you probably haven't heard so much about, but it's right next door. Qatar, if you're military, right there. You remember that place. And Bahrain. So the big deal, Strait of Hormuz is this section right here. They people are, Iran uses that to control oil and the flow, because a lot of oil comes through there, right? Everything from Iraq, from a lot of places in Saudi Arabia, from Kuwait, and from Iran, but all of them flow through the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Gulf right here, and go through this little strait. And it's a small section. I don't know how many miles. Let's see here if I can do this. Even from coast to coast, approximately 87 kilometers, but I speak freedom units, so go miles. Done. What is that? 54 miles. So that's not very many, right? That's a very, very small section of land that if a country wanted to control, they could control and change global oil prices. And so it is a key choke point for about like 20% of the world's daily oil. And right now, all of the shipping places are just terrified. And you might say, what do energy prices in the Middle East have to do with my family farm here in Apple Valley, California? Well, everything that you buy, it's everything. Because everything that you buy, the grit for your chickens, the high nitrogen fertilizer that you use in the spring, the medical supplies that you buy for your prepper kits, it's all made and transported by fossil fuels. So when oil hits $100, freight companies will issue a surcharge. And that's the cost of a truckload of chicken feed when it goes up. It doesn't just go up slightly, it jumps because of that huge fee that just got added. And that is what we can call a cascading in inflation. And so think about like our freeze dryer, right? We have a freeze dryer from Harvest Right. It's amazing. It's awesome. But it's an insurance machine. It does run on electricity, which oil prices spike. But side note on that is that we do have a solar system with batteries, so it's not really the same. But because the batteries do need fossil fuels, it's still connected. But I use it to preserve food that I've purchased, which also went up in price because it costs more to transport. But this is in general why we prep, and it's to lock in prices now before they go up next month. If this $100 price level holds, which looks likely, your feed store bill is going to go up by 15 to 20% by May 1st, guaranteed. So here's your homesteader action plan in response to the Strait of Hormuz story. And if you guys have any questions about this, please put it in the questions, comments, and I will answer you during live stream within a couple minutes. Or if this is recorded and you watch it later, within a day. So, number one, food security or feed security is prepping. Do not wait until your bucket is empty. Go and buy feed right now. A 6-month supply is not an overreaction. It is a simple financial math system. Bulk buy before the surcharges hit the retail shelf. This is one thing that we have struggled to do for a while, but we are really trying to build up. Yes, if you buy 6 months of feed at once, it is going to be thousands of dollars. So we're trying to get a little extra here, a little extra there, just to provide and have extra. So, I mean, you can keep it dry and, cool it in the shed and keep it for a while, and it'll be fine. So, but number two is lock in your supplies. Think about your input intensive homestead items. So fencing, specific medical gear, gardening soil amendments, things like that. Buy them now. Also, number three is start your own feed. So it's 2026. Stop relying 100% on the store. The oil spike should be your kick in the butt to start growing fodder, like sprouted grains, fermenting chicken feed, raising mealworms. The less stuff you have to buy, the less this news story will affect you. And I know it's a lot of work, right? Growing your own fodder, growing your own feed. But in the end, it is worth it, to make it happen. So the next story I wanted to talk about, I couldn't find it on Ground News, but it's about California's drop program. But first, before we do that, I wanted to thank our sponsor, Ground News. And yeah.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together, so you can see how many sources are reporting on any breaking story, where they fall on the political spectrum, how reliable they are, and who owns them. Compare headlines and read full articles to see which details are prioritized, exaggerated, or left out entirely. Because the more we understand the media, the more we'll understand each other. Visit ground.news to learn more.
All right. Well, we sure do appreciate ground news. And while for some reason I can't drop that link in the chat right now. Oh, maybe I can right here. If you're looking at getting ground news, make sure to use our link right there. Yep, there we go. And it didn't go to Facebook for some reason. I'll add it to Facebook later if I can't right now. Um, Maybe not. Yeah, I'll add it later if you can't. But it's a link to check out Ground News if you don't have it. So the big thing, though, this one unfortunately was not on Ground News, and I'm not sure exactly why. Probably because they don't want us to use this tool. Is the digital off-grid move, or something called Drop, which is the delete request and opt out platform here in California. Okay, this third story is specifically relevant to us here in California, but it sets the 2026 trend for the entire country. And for us preppers, this is huge. We all focus on physical preparedness like water, food, chickens, etc. But digital security before a collapse is part of the grid. When you search for long term grain storage or emergency antibiotics, you are building a profile. Companies you have never heard of, it's called data brokers, collect and sell it to marketers, data miners, and the highest bidder. For a while, you could get services, and you still can, like Delete Me and Aura to take your information off of data brokers, but those services can be expensive. So, this is talking about a security vulnerability for us preppers who value some privacy. And this month, California officially launched Drop, delete, request, and opt out platform. I know this is crazy that I feel like I'm surprised that California did this, to be honest. But this is a single website, and here it is. And I'll see if I can, let me put this link here. It's privacy.ca.gov. Oops, that's just Facebook. Let me do all. Sorry, privacy.ca.gov/drop. And this single website allows you to send a one-click legally binding request to over 500 major data brokers to delete everything on you and to stop selling your info. So this is a digital off-grid move. It is it used to take like weeks of emailing and searching and doing all of this and unsubscribing. Yes, we've all tried it. But now the state surprisingly has streamlined it. I know I don't completely understand it, but it's an essential part of 2026 digital prepping. Now, why does this matter? Because true self-reliance isn't just about having supplies. It's about having a smaller profile. It's about not being found and profiled based on your lifestyle choices or political beliefs during a crisis. And so here's what you need to do. So, number one, for my California family, I'm sorry that you are here as well. But if you are in California, type drop platform California into Google right now. Or you can go to just privacy.ca.gov /drop. Unfortunately, I cannot add that for some reason. Let me see here if I can add it as a text box at least. Media text. Let's see if this works. It's just going to do the text. Oh, there we go. Okay, so privacy.ca.gov /drop. Maybe. We'll see if this works or not. I have no idea. It says it's there, but it's not. Anywho, we'll add it in the links below. But go ahead and go through this. Click Get Started on this website here, and it'll take about 20 minutes. And it takes to set up your account and issue the blanket request. And by the way, it is completely free. So for everyone else outside of California, congratulations on getting out. Good job. I applaud you. So this law is probably going to spread. So I would watch for similar legislation in New York, Texas, and Washington by the end of the year. And in the meantime, you can manually contact the main brokers, but use California's success as your template. So, and number 3 is digital hygiene. So start using burner emails for mailing lists. Use VPNs. This news story proves that privacy is a commodity and secure yours. Okay. This, I haven't done this yet because I kind of wanted to start a little bit here and we'll see how this goes. And, I have no idea. I'm just kind of curious walking through this, how difficult this is actually going to be. Okay, terms of use. Yes. Of course, I accept. I've read it all. Okay, so if you're a California resident, verify your by using personal through login.gov. Okay, I am not going to do this on camera, but let me see here if I can at least do part of it. So I have a california.gov login from, I don't know, a lot of different stuff. Login.gov rather, sorry. It's probably going to ask for a third. Nope, choose another authentication method, get a text. Okay. See if I get a text. It's pretty simple. Email, password. Okay. And then after that, it'll connect your verified information to the drop platform, which includes your address. Also not going to show that. Sorry, guys. Okay. And then it's going to ask you for required fields. So I'll show this here because it doesn't have anything submitted yet. So are you submitting for someone else? So you can do that. It's just my email. Okay, not a big deal. That's in the description of most of my YouTube videos. So you're going to put in your first and last name, your date of birth, your postal code, your email address, and your phone number. So unique mobile advertising, I guess so. Connected TV via. Why would I be putting in my VIN? I don't understand that. Okay, let's do this here real quick so we can see how easy this is. Scott Lacey, date of birth, going in, zip code, email address, verify. I agree to receive emails. I agree to receive stuff from drop. Oh, it's gonna, hold on. Now it's gonna ask for a verification code, which is good at least, right? So you can't just put in someone else's email here. Drop verification. Okay. That's good. Email address is verified. You're going to put in your phone number because this is not login.gov. So you got to verify your phone number for drop and agree to receive text messages. And then you got to enter the code as soon as you get it. Let's see how long it takes. Oh, there we go. That's pretty quick. Okay. Oh boy, and I just lost you. Oh, because I turned off my fan and I moved it. Dang it. Okay, well, I will finish this, and I know if you guys can hear me, we will make sure to talk soon. We truly appreciate you guys joining us today, on the stream, and I will get my fan back on my camera so it doesn't overheat. But yeah, go to the drop website, take care of that, and get your privacy done. Thank you. We'll talk to you guys next week. Appreciate it.